Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. I've been having some technical issues, so a little nudge would be great. And then once we've established that you can hear me, we can get on with the show. Thank you for your kind messages. Yeah, just let me know if you can hear me, because I can hear myself, but I don't know if anyone else can hear me. Oh, you can hear me. Phew! Thanks, Adam. Sorry, I've been sweating it out on a rather balmy day in London. Adam, where would I be without you? Honestly. Sorry for that rocky start. Hello and welcome to this live stream that I promise is going to get a lot better as we go on. I'm normally a lot more professional than this. Not. But yeah, today's the day. Lightly is out. I can't believe it's out. I'm very excited. I was feeling pretty nervous about this one. I don't know why, which I probably said yesterday on social media of some kind. But it's very different to Women of Love, and Women of Love got such a great reception. I was sort of nervous and wanted this to have the same sort of love, but my goodness, you've really sent loads of love, so thank you so much for that. And please, if you've got any questions about the song, just send them in the chat. Let me know if there's something that you want to know about the song, about when I wrote it, about the recording process, you know, inspirations. Penny Punk Bean, that's actually me. You've got an amazing name. Adam, it's your first listen. Well, we'll listen to it in a minute. I'll wait for a few more people to join. There's always some slow coaches. And then we'll have a listen to it together. I would recommend grabbing some tissues. That's what I'm going to do. Because I think it's quite an emotional song. But that's me, right? Of course I would, because I bloody wrote it. Let's have a listen. Let's have a listen. So, ladies and gentlemen, lightly.
I think I see it.
go. The song itself, I hope you enjoyed it. I've listened to that song so many times over the last few months, and sometimes it's funny. I was saying to my friend last night, I stayed up to watch it go live on YouTube, and although I've heard it a million times and I've like sat there with the mixers and, you know, been really super critical and analysed it and tried to improve it in every possible way, it sounds completely different when you listen to it for the first time at midnight on YouTube or on Spotify, wherever you listen. Wherever I listened, and I know it's the exact same file as it would have been that I listened to like 5 minutes before on my laptop, but yeah, it's a real relief to release these songs out into the world. I wrote them, I've been sitting on them for a while, and yeah, it's a great emotional release. Adam, how do I do it bop after bop after bop? I wouldn't say that's a bop. You could bop to it, like super slowly. I bop to it, but I don't count. I'm obviously very biased. Right, questions. Let me know if you've got any questions. I did see one a minute ago. Someone said, what is the story behind Lightly? Lightly was written at the same sort of time as Woman in Love, a time in my life where I was feeling pretty down low and just a bit sad. And writing Lightly was just a practical exercise for me. At that time I needed to reevaluate where I was in my life and what I was accepting from people and what I was giving to people. And I was one of those people that gave so much of myself that there was nothing left for me. And that's just how I operated, and I wondered why I was feeling so sad and miserable all the time. And I love making people feel good. That's one of my things. I like to give and cook things and do nice things for people. But it's hard to sort of accept that when no one else is doing anything for you, and the person in particular that made me feel so shitty wasn't really giving me any emotional support. So writing this song was a real practical exercise in me trying to remember what I liked about myself, because the me that I saw was nothing. I didn't value myself, didn't trust my gut, didn't trust my opinions, and it was kind of painful to write it because it just made me realise how sad I was. But it was a first step in a great direction, and it was such a cathartic thing to do. I was listening at the time to the Waxahachie record, I think it's called St. Cloud, that came out in it would have been summer 2020, I guess, or maybe spring 2020. And there was one song on the record that I listened to, and I think it might have been called St. Cloud, and it was just so hopeful and bright and really tender, and I just thought, I want to write a song like that. And this kind of ended up being that kind of song. I just felt super inspired by her work. Katie, I can't remember what her surname is. She's brilliant. Go and listen to her music. So it was really inspired by this, and I wanted to try and, I had this visual in my head of the sun rising, like on an old film camera or a Super 8, when someone's filming the sun rising, all those little beams of light are sort of hitting the lens and splintering and fracturing, and it's just a really beautiful image, and that was what I wanted the song to sound like. And I think we got there. There are some incredible strings by one of the best string composers and arrangers around, a wonderful Irish lady called Laura McFadden, who did such a beautiful job on this. We had all these ideas for strings, me and my producer, St. Francis Hotel, and we sent her all these ideas, and she just sent back such an abundance of beautiful strings. I really just thought, maybe let's scrap my vocal, scrap the piano, and just have 3.5 minutes of strings, because they're so heart-wrenching and always, I think, get across the emotion so well. Thank you. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but I'll take the compliment from someone else. I can't say that. Adam says, I would trust it'll be a crying Bob. Oh, thank you. Yeah, when I do a show, I'm going to do a London show the next few months. And I think I might use the merch stand to sell some tissues because you might need them. Or I'll just need them. It's a completely selfish request. Penny Punk Bean says, my favourite song of yours is Illuminate. Are you comfortable to share what it means to you? Yeah, Illuminate was a song that I wrote with a friend of mine, a really talented songwriter called Natalia Salter. And it's really a song about frustration, I guess. It's someone's not giving you what you want them to give you. They're not opening up to you, and you want to be there for them, which is probably the most overused phrase in the history of musicians. And you want them to just shed some light, which I guess is kind of a theme here with Lightly as well. But yeah, it's the frustration of knowing that your life would be incomplete without this person, but at the same time they're not helping you complete it. They're withholding something, and I think I love anyway, maybe I love it too much. Someone showing you the vulnerable side is a real privilege and a real pleasure, and it helps create these crazy bonds like I have with my friends. After writing these songs on this record, that was something I started to do after really cutting myself off from them for quite a long time. And I guess Illuminate is about that. It's about telling someone to trust me, let me in, let me be there for you. You don't have to carry this burden on your own. Adam says, are all the tracks in the album going to be fueled by overwhelming and powerful emotions? Adam, that's what all of my songs are about. Yeah, I guess they all are. They're all surrounding this really tricky few years of my life and this circumstance of me really needing to leave quite a damaging relationship and not having I just didn't feel able to do it. The person I was with was sort of made me feel very dependent on him and made me feel like I was nothing really, and to be able to leave any long-term relationship or any difficult situation, you've got to think that you can do it and think that you've got the strength to pull through, and I didn't. And so that's what this album's about. It's exploring all those emotions, and it's confusing as hell when you love someone but you know that they're really bad for you. And so I think each song on the record does a different job of looking into these confusing as hell emotions that we feel when we're in a bit of turbulence in a relationship. It doesn't have to be romantic, it could be with a friend that's just being a crap friend to you. And these are all hard conversations to have because, and me especially, I hate upsetting people. I just want everyone to be happy all the time. But it's no good if you're miserable. So yeah, I guess they are all quite overwhelming and powerful emotions, but there are some fun songs on there. But I seem to always just use music as an outlet to kind of safely handle those powerful emotions, because it can be a bit bewildering sometimes, especially when you've had the few years I've had. Someone says, I never know how to pronounce your name, Medusoid mycelium. Great name. What does that mean? You say, I actually feel like that now, how to be light to your loved one and find light for yourself too at the same time. Yeah, man, it's a balancing act. I think it's something we have to work on throughout our lives. There's never one solution or one thing that works, because every day we wake up and face something different, and even if we've got our shit under control, our partners or our loved ones or our friends are always going through something completely different. And even if we think that we know what they're about and what they're going through, and even if they're honest with us, there's always something under the surface that we don't know. It's just practice, it is a lifelong practice, and I think we just get better at reading people and being receptive to other people's emotions. But just don't be too receptive that you forget your own. Adam says, are you planning on releasing a live version of Lightly on YouTube like you did with Woman in Love? Would you consider releasing a live EP full of live recordings for Spotify? Yep, I've just spoiled that, but there is absolutely a live version of Lightly coming soon in the next few weeks. Filmed in the same studio on the same day as Woman in Love with an amazing team. It's always so exciting when you get to record and film in a studio, because I think they're normally places that are quite secret. A lot of the time there's no natural daylight coming in, and you're locked in there for 7 or 8 hours a day, and it's not the most glamorous existence all the time. So being able to like put on a nice outfit and, you know, put on some makeup and really perform these songs in that environment where they were created and where they were sort of incubated for so long is a real treat. And I hope that you enjoy this next session on a great old piano with the back taken off so you can see all the mechanisms. It's shot really beautifully, and that's got nothing to do with me. It's got everything to do with the brilliant crew who were there on the day. James, Owen, Deck. We had an amazing engineer. Just a great day. It was a very exciting day, and I can't wait for you to see that too. And yeah, I think I would. I'd love to do a live EP for Spotify. They do these little sessions where you go down to Spotify HQ and record. So maybe if, you know, things go well enough, they'll invite me down. I should probably email some people and be proactive about it. But yeah, I love that. I always think there's so much power in live music because that's, you know, that's an instance, that's a few minutes of your life, of the performer's life that will never be replicated ever again. And there's something so instant and special about it. It really captures so much emotion and just, you know, the sound in the room and the noises of, you know, fingers on guitar strings and crowd shuffling around. God, such a romantic. Volta says, let the west wind bring you the fullness of lever, let the world visit your eyes in eternal spring. That's a very beautiful line. Did you write that? What lovely stuff. Yeah, the live version will be out soon-ish. There is another really cool project that is going to be accompanying this album. I've been working on it the last couple of days, and I will tell you about it, but who wants to hear the demo version first of Lightly? Which I will warn you is very much like a baby of a song. And pretty raw and not produced by me, which back then didn't mean much. But I think it's interesting to hear them side by side and sort of see how their production is varied and differed. And yeah, so let's have a listen to that demo now. This is the original Lightly demo from 2020.
I think I see it on the horizon, now I feel it. And I'm alive, but am I breathing? Fill my lungs so I can scream it. When I cried on the floor on a Saturday, oh, I knew there was more just waiting for me. I think I see it right out where the sun will set. Maybe I'm dreaming. I dream when I'm found with the signs of the sun, signs in the sky. I wanna see how this road lies. I'll rage on, brave and kind to my rivals. Well, maybe I love the way I can fall on my feet, keeping my own kind of Bible. Maybe I love how I feel in the wind and the breeze so light. I'm light. I'm light.
There she blows. Yeah, God, that sounds quite raw, that song. My vocals all over the place. You probably hear that I opened crying while I was writing it. But it's nice to hear. I always think the chorus when it comes in that version hits different, man. So I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, that's the thing. There's this thing that we talk about called demoitis amongst musicians and just anyone that writes music, and that is you write the original demo and you love it, and no version can ever be as good, and you'll never be as pleased with it because the original version has captured this like little magic moment, sort of like what we were saying a minute ago about live performances. And I think the key is to just not bother trying to recreate that, because you're never going to achieve it. And every version of a song that you make should be in its own right, complete and special, and draws you in and has feeling, and that feeling will never be the same in two versions, but you've got to respect that individual and what it brings to the table. Penny Punk says, what songwriters inspire you? Could you share some of your favourites? Oh, so many songwriters. I guess when I was a kid, I started off listening to a lot of Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell. I was quite obsessed with Laura Marling for a good few years, and I actually ended up banning myself from listening to her because all of the songs I was writing would just sound like bad rip-offs of her songs, and nobody wants to hear that. And I guess she was in part inspired by Bob and Joni and Leonard Cohen, all the classic songwriters, but also I love like classic Motown writing, soul music, anything that's got like a clever structure or a catchy melody that pulls you in. I suppose over the years of my youth I probably bopped to quite a few Max Martin songs because he just wrote every major pop song ever. There are so many songwriters. I think Florence Welch is an amazing writer. She really captures emotion and like instantly gives it to you on a plate. You can't turn away once she started singing, and her words are so grabbing. Gosh, who else? There's so many great songwriters out there that have like run away from my mind immediately. Let's come back to that. What songs inspired Lightly, especially the piano part? The songs that inspired Lightly, a couple of songs off the Waxahachie album, which is called St. Cloud. One of the songs called Fire, and one of the songs is called St. Cloud as well. It's the title track of the record. And they just both grabbed me immediately when I heard them, and I think they have a lot of honesty in them. The sort of linear structure of the song, it really builds and grows, and that sort of conversational lyric. This is the first song that I've written that I really think I was talking directly to myself and to no one else, which is always awkward and uncomfortable. It's also one of the first songs I've written with intention. Normally when I sit down to write, I don't name what I want to talk about, because I feel like it can limit you mentally sometimes if you're hemming yourself into only writing about a certain subject or a certain person or a certain event. Then there might be other things that you've experienced outside of that you won't be opening yourself up to, and nothing can be so pure that it's only inspired by one thing. All of our experiences and all of our sort of major emotions are informed by something else. We've learned over the years how to deal with things, and I always want to remain open to call on things, but this song was the first time that I sort of consciously thought, do you know what, I need to sit down and just get this out. I need to sit down and work out what it is that I actually like about myself and name things, and then once I'd done that, I was sort of struck with the challenge of trying to make it sound poetic and not incredibly awkward and a bit sad, but I think I did a good enough job of that. There are a few lyrics in the song that I really love, that I'm really proud of, and it's nice to change the style. The piano part, which piano part do you mean? the twinkly one, the bida-bum bum. Great impression of the piano, you're so welcome. There's a Florence and the Machine song called The End of Love that I adore, and it's a lot more stripped back than this, but I really love the way that the piano and the strings sort of interplay. You should go and listen to it. It's just absolutely stunning and will make you cry. But there's a hopefulness and a sadness to it that I think this song also embodies, because I think, you know, writing it made me realise that I was in a really damn sad place, and that's hard to acknowledge. But I wanted to feel hopeful. I didn't want it to just be a miserable ballad. It's all about hope, and this song really touches on, for me, on the idea that you can change. You have got the power to change your future. God, I should go write a self-help book. This is really getting... I'm sorry, you must be getting really bored of my self-help statements. Adam says, this in the best way in saying that this demo sounds... Oh yeah, you said that already. Sorry, I read that already. Your song's always so spot on and sensual. I still cherish the day I first heard you. Oh, thank you, Penny. That's really kind. Let me tell you, there's a hell of a lot of songs that you don't hear that are just rubbish and not sensual or considered. But I think you have to write, you know, maybe like 3 or 4 average songs to get one really good one. So maybe I'll like release them one day when I've got nothing else to say. EJ says, who was the person you'd love to do a collaboration with if you could pick any artist? Oh god, that's such a good question. I've always really wanted to work with James Blake. I'm such a huge fan of his work, and he just has such a fresh perspective on all of his music. He's an incredible lyricist, incredible producer, and I think he would just make me a bit more interesting, probably. Give me a bit of an edge. Who else? God, there's so many people I'd love to collaborate with. Classics. I'd love to work with the classics. I'd love to collaborate with Bob Dylan. I'm staring at a big book with his face on it right now, and he's smirking at me. You know, anyone. I think that's the joy in music. Collaboration is so wonderful and brings so much to the table when you do it right and you find the right people to work with. And I have got another collaborative project that will be out at some point this year with my producer, St. Francis Hotel, and a really talented musician called Mark McCausland that we've done, and I don't know if they're going to kill me for saying that, because maybe that's an exclusive. You have to keep your eyes peeled for that and your ears peeled. Actually, there are people that I did dream of collaborating with. My producer, someone that I'd known for a long time, who helped me create this album. I always wanted to work with him, and we could never find the right thing to do, and this album just sort of fell into our laps, and it was the perfect project. So in a way, I have sort of take that dreamy bit off the list, and I'm gonna never let him not produce another one of my albums ever again. Someone says, how do you like Dance Fever by Florence and the Machine? Yeah, that's a crazy record. It's really good. It's really different. There are a couple of songs that I like. I was listening to it yesterday, but I'm yet to dig in deep to it. But all the visuals and the sort of story behind it is brilliant and looks very freeing. The End of Love is one of my favourites from Highest Hope. Yeah, me too. And You're Likely is amazing, full of hope and feels like a warm hug. I'm so glad it's a hug. I feel like it's a hug too, this song. Especially when that last chorus comes in. I just feel, super proud of myself. Which I know sounds really cheesy, but that's a sort of new feeling for me. Right, who wants to hear Lightly live? Should we play a live version of it? I did actually play it on the last live stream, but I didn't tell you that it was the next single. Maybe I did. And it will sound a little different because it's an acoustic version, but it's still, nice in its own way, and it actually has a bit of a sort of Americana country edge to it, I guess, slightly. So yeah, let's have a play of Lightly. live. This is the first exclusive performance of Lightly live. Please forgive my guitar bashing around the room. Right, here we go. Oh, my cat's just walked in. Hey Bob. You're interrupting a live stream, dude. Yeah, you know. Do you want dinner? I'll feed you after. Can you go, please? See ya. I'm so sorry about that, but that was also slightly amazing. Right. This is Lightly.
I think I see it on the horizon, now I feel it. And I'm alive, but am I breathing? Fill my lungs so I can scream it. When I cried on the floor on a Saturday, oh, I knew there was more just waiting for me. I think I see it right out where the sun will set. Maybe I'm dreaming. I dream when I'm found with the signs of the sun, signs in the sky. I wanna see how this road lies. I'll rage on, brave and kind to my rivals. And maybe I love the way I can fall on my feet, keeping my own kind of Bible. Maybe I love how I feel in the wind. I'm the breeze so light. I'm light. Oh, I'm light. I'm light. I'm light. Can you feel it close to you? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Let it end, I dare you. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Maybe I love the way I can fall on my feet, keeping my own kind of Bible. Maybe I love how I feel in the wind. I'm the breeze so light. I'm light. Oh, I'm light. Yeah, I'm light. I'm light.
There we go. That's Lightly live. And I'm sorry about the cat again. That was quite hilarious. He just came in. Classic Bob. Right, any more questions? Someone says, do you like to read? What books would you recommend to read? Yeah, I love reading. I tend to read a lot of non-fiction. I'm a bit of a nerd in that way. I like to try and educate myself. I've been reading a lot of books recently about sort of psychology, which sounds thrilling. A great book called The Body Keeps the Score, which is about sort of the way that your body holds trauma after experiencing it. And I've been reading books about grief and how to sort of deal with grief after a friend of mine died last November, sorry. And that's been great. I just, try and educate myself. I also love history books because I'm a bit of a loser. Big fan of the Wind Up Bird sort of chronicles and God, I'm going to say his name wrong. Is it Murakami? I love all of his books. I've basically read every book. But yeah, if you've got any recommendations, let me know, because I should probably expand my vocabulary into fiction too. Hi Esme! How are you? Oh, such a stunning and brave song. I'm proud of you. Will you be going on tour with the next album, or when can we expect to see you live at a gig? Well, I was talking about this today with someone, and there are some plans in the works for definitely some shows in autumn, but I will be doing a London show in the next few months. I just need to book it, and I think I might do a couple of other shows around the UK, maybe like Brighton or Bristol, or maybe like Leeds. I'm a bit late for festivals, unfortunately. I was sort of had my head deep in making this record still in January, so I missed out on a lot of shows. But yeah, I did a show the day after Woman in Love came out, and it was the first show that I had enjoyed doing for years. So I really want to play these songs to you. It just feels different live. It just feels better, and I actually enjoyed it, and I'm proud of them. So I think it's only fitting that we should do a show, but there'll definitely be some shows around the album when it comes out later in the year. Veronica says, I don't know why, but this morning when I first listened to Lightly, I almost right away thought that this was the song about recovery in every aspect of life: health, love, friendship, self-awareness. Yeah, you're so right, and you've put it far more concisely than I ever could have. It is about recovery. It's the sort of first step of recovery. In all of those areas, you're totally right, and I suppose it's that classic thing of admitting that you have something that you need to recover from. That's it, isn't it? Acceptance is the first stage, and this song was very much acceptance of, where I was, but also not accepting that that's where I would stay, and deciding that I could change where I was, who I was with, what my life was like. One of the lyrics in the first verse, when I cried on the floor on Saturday, I knew there was more just waiting for me, which is really bleak, but I was spending most Saturday nights sitting on the floor crying, sometimes because of me, but often not because of me, and that's not a fun place to be. You should be out boogieing on a Saturday night, or just watching a great film, not sitting on the floor crying. So I chose to. This song was me choosing to do more, and choosing to want more for myself. I'm going to pronounce your name wrong. I'm so sorry. Panagiotis. Stop! I'm almost in tears. Don't cry, or you can cry. Maybe I should buy some tissues. Again, merch tissues is a great idea. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Yeah, we miss him dearly. I'm sorry for our loss as well. Shout out to Bert. We love you, and we think of you every day, and the world is not the same without you. But I'm sort of gonna be having to do double the living on your behalf, because you can't be here to do it. There's a lot of things that have happened in the last couple of years around writing this record, and even after it was written, that just made me reevaluate, my life and how I lived it, and what I should be grateful for, and trying to enjoy every moment, even the difficult ones, because you need those to offer contrast for all those brilliant moments. Tuan says, you are awesome. I don't know why many people haven't heard of your music. I know, me too. You're very kind. Hey, look, feel free. You guys, you have the power to spread the word. Send it to all your friends and family. Add it to all your playlists. Send it to your local radio station and get them to play it. This isn't that radio friendly, I see that. It's just a bit too depressing, but Woman in Love is a banger, so you've got the power to share it. Wipes coming soon. Brilliant. I've got some exciting news, which I sort of teased yesterday, but I will just tell you now. So, when I was writing this album, I wasn't really writing it to write an album. I just needed to get things out of my head because I was in a really confused place, a really sad place, quite a lonely place, and I was so confused that I thought, I'm just going to write loads of songs and let my subconscious tell me, what I should do, where I should go. So I wrote a bunch of songs, probably about 40 songs, maybe a few more than that. And the album is just about a quarter of that. And there are loads of songs, some of them weren't amazing, some of them were amazing, and I still listen to them in my spare time because they're good and there's nothing wrong with that. But I thought, rather than waiting or making you wait for each single release and then an album, I'd love to give you an insight into making this record, where my head was at, the songs that didn't quite make the cut but are still great songs. So I've got a special little collection of 10 songs that I will be releasing starting from this Friday, once a week for 10 weeks. They're all demos, so they're all just things that I've produced in the spare room or in my bedroom. They're called the bedroom mixes, and I'm excited. I've just sort of been on overdrive doing artwork and cleaning up the songs, and I'm excited for you to hear them. So they'll be exclusively released on YouTube and SoundCloud. They won't be on Spotify or any other streaming services. They're just a little taster for you every Friday to sort of hear the other sort of things I was writing about at the time that this album was written. And I hope that by the time the album comes out, you will feel a bit more informed about the whole process, because it really is like a moment in time. I always remember listening to an interview, and I can't for the life of me think of who said it, but they were talking about the word record. When you write a record, that is a record of your life at that time, and it always stayed with me. And until I wrote this, I didn't really sort of think that I could do that. I've always written sort of about sporadic instances, not big long narrative. But this record is a record of my life over the last few years, and I thought it would only be fair to share with you a bit more about it and share a bit more into the world. So I'll be teaching. Oh God, what am I talking about? I'll be sharing with you, each song and a little sort of deep dive and description about what it's about and what it means to me. And I hope that you'll find that useful and informative, and it's a way for me to give you more music without having to go through the process of releasing it and producing it up properly. So I'll do some more posts about it this week, but this is the exclusive announcement for that. Hans Godfrey says, Bear is one of the most nostalgic songs. Thank you, girl. Thanks, Hans. I love that song too. It's really nostalgic for me, but I can't listen to it anymore because when I hear it, I just sound like a 5-year-old and I feel like a child. So I love that song and I respect it and I love to play it live, but I can't listen to the original recording. I've got a tiny little voice. Penny Punk Bean. Yeah, this stream will be saved on this channel after it's ended, so you can listen to it whenever you want in your own free time. Adam says, OMG, you're too good to us, can't wait. It won't be on Bandcamp, it will just be on YouTube and SoundCloud, so get your little SoundCloud account, join the community, and we'll have the whole collection of songs on there. 1 a week for 10 weeks. I'm really excited to share with you the bedroom mixes. Penny says, the song Bear breaks me every time I listen to it. Oh, I don't want to break you, I want to fix you. But I'm glad that it has any effect at all. That's really nice. It's important for me too. I'm amazed that I wrote a song like that when I was so not in touch with my emotions. It's quite ironic, really. Adam says, will the Lightly demo be part of the project? If not, would you consider uploading the Lightly demo on top of them? Do you know what? It's not part of the project. All of the songs that are in this project are completely new and they aren't on the actual album. And I don't know if I'll add lightly. I think the new version that's out there is the best version so far. Maybe let me see after the 10 weeks if I've got the itch for releasing music regularly, then maybe I'll chuck it in on top. I think I need to do some edits to it and tidy it up a bit, but yeah, we never know. You'll have to wait and see. Tuan says, the song Bear was mentioned a few times and it's one of my favourite. I know the interpretation of the lyric is different from one to one. Can you just explain it in your words, please? Yeah, of course. So Bear is basically, and excuse my language, but there's no better way to explain it. Bear is basically a big fuck you to someone who underestimated me, who told me that I was kind of a bit worthless and wasn't able to do something or to do a number of things. And I thought, actually, you don't really know me. And I think I felt quite vulnerable at the time because I'd let this person in underneath my skin, as the lyric says. You've seen me bare, you've seen me covered up. And I think once you expose yourself and are vulnerable in that way, and someone is, hypercritical and cruel, that's a really hurtful thing. So that was the catalyst to writing Bear, was just me saying, do you know what? Like, F you. If you're going to piss me off, I'm going to write a song about it. And everyone's going to hear it, and then it's going to go and get like a few million streams, and I hope you feel guilty. No, obviously I didn't know that would happen once when I wrote it. I was only a baby. I think I was about 17, 18 when I wrote Bear. But it's a great song. That song changed my life. It really did. Medusoid says, so happy to hear all the demos and find light, hope and happiness in them. Yeah, I think you will. They're really varied as well. The album has definitely got a certain style to it. And I think these songs that you'll be hearing over the next few weeks are just different. They didn't quite fit into the narrative of this album, but they're still of the same ilk and the same time. And I think I've had a bit more fun with trying different styles in them. And I think it probably gives a good example of I listen to quite a broad spectrum of music, and it doesn't always filter its way into my own songs that I release. But these songs, I think, show that in a new way. Adam says, well, it's a timeless classic, just like all of your songs. Well, it's not hard, Adam, because I haven't got any songs. I've got 8 songs, so you're very kind, and thank you. But I need to up my game. Oh, I love Bear. I was listening to it after my friend stopped talking to me forever. I'm sorry, that's sad. I hope that you are okay now, and that you found a bit of peace, and that you're thriving without them. We can't always control other people. Well, we can never control other people's responses. You just have to put yourself first. Tuan, that's my pleasure, anytime. Right, I think maybe we're nearly done here. Let me check my tick list. I've told you about the bedroom mixes. Yes, I've played Bear. Not Bear, I played lightly. Played you the demo. Is there anything else you want to know? Any questions you've got? Penny says, you're actually fixing me. Your songs help me to stay in touch with this world. Glad I have an opportunity to share it with you. Thank you for the time and attention you give us. That means a lot. Oh, that's really kind, Penny Punk Bean. I think the one thing that I've, really realised throughout the pandemic and over the last few years is that we just have to be grateful and be there for each other and give people the time, because before 2020 I think everyone was just living in their own vacuum and hurting themselves in the process, and we didn't have healthy relationships with our work or with our friends or our family or our partners and with the world. And I think taking time to appreciate them is really important, and I just want to be here for you, as so many of you have spent hours of your life listening to my music, and that never fails to amaze me and never passes me by. I'm always gobsmacked by it. So the least I can do is be here for you. And I think there's a really great community that I've spoken about a lot on Instagram and on social media, and I just think, if we can't be there for each other, then what on earth can we do? So, Adam says, We want the album release date, artwork, tracklist now. Adam, you will be getting it very, very soon. I promise. It's nearly all done. I'm about to shoot the artwork in the next couple of weeks. And I hope I can do it justice. I've got a vision for it and it's got to look perfect. But you'll be hearing it in the next few months. I promise. Medusoid says, your music helped me a lot. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so pleased. That's all you can ever ask for, right? That your music touches people and that they connect to it in some way, even if it's on a completely different level to yours. That's all you can hope for. Human connection is what I live for, and that's wonderful. Medusoid says, I always feel better when you're releasing new songs and talking with us. Oh, so do I. It's good to get things out there in the world and get things off our chests. Well, thank you all for watching, and for listening even, because there's just a picture of me, it's not actually a video. Thank you for Gramophone for hosting this, and YouTube Studio. Thanks for staying with me for nearly an hour, and I'm sorry about Bob coming and interrupting the song. But have a beautiful evening. Please go ahead and share lightly with everyone that you love. I hope that it touches you in some way, because it really saved me writing it, and to release it out there into the world is such a huge relief, and it's a bit of closure on my part from the tricky few years that we've all had, that I've experienced. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening. Love to the Philippines, Hans. Love to you all. I'm gonna go and eat my dinner. And keep tuned. Stay tuned. That's it. I can't speak today. Stay tuned for the bedroom mixes. I'll be posting more about them this week. But yeah, thank you. Have a beautiful evening, and all the love to you.